This is a live video I did with my cousin, La Mente Maestra Tarot, on Facebook, March 20th, 2021. In it, we discussed the origins of tarot, the practicality of tarot in our daily lives, our individual tarot journeys, and answered common tarot questions. Check it out. All right, Tarot Talk!
Okay, I'm just going to lower the volume here.
Yeah, you got to lower your phone volume all the way.
All right. Who's here? I see 3 people, 5 on my end.
Oh, snap. Hello. I didn't send a Zoom link for this because I feel like Michelle and I are going to be doing the back and forth. And so that's why I didn't do a Zoom. And it's going to be, this is Tarot Talk. So we're just going to talk tarot. We're not doing readings tonight. So if you have any questions in general about tarot,
hi, Rice Cake.
You're going to get your intel. Raisa. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Mommy.
I don't see Madrina.
So,
she's probably thinking this. Hi, Madrina. Hi, Ruby.
Oh, where?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, through the divination. Okay, so you're going to read me any comments from Divination for All, if there are any.
Yep.
Okay, guys, so we're having Tarot Talk with my cousin, Michelle-La Mente Maestra, and thinkingthis.com, which is me. Happy spring equinox.
Yes.
So we're going to have a Q&A session. When is your next live, Michelle?
Friday.
Michelle's live is next Friday, and my next live is tomorrow at 4:44. I will be sending a Zoom invite to that. If you haven't already, subscribe to my newsletter so that you can get the Zoom link. Michelle, do you want to share your socials?
So I'm on TikTok, LAMENTE Maestra 928. I am on Instagram as LAMENTE Maestra Tarot, as well as same on Facebook, LAMENTE Maestra Tarot, and a private group called Divination for All.
Yes, Divination for All. So if you want like a reading fix, join Divination for All because there's multiple readers there. It's not just Michelle or someone else. It's a little group there.
If you want to learn or if you want to become a reader, contact me through INGRID, however.
Yeah, and you may have a chance to get your practice in at Divination for All. Okay, so what else? Where are we starting?
Let's talk about this controversy about where did tarot originate? How about that?
Let's discuss that. What? I came across certain theories. So would you come up with? What'd you find in your
15th century Italy?
Yes, that like the first, way that we understand tarot happened with the Visconti Tarot. Hey, Atala, what's up? Happened with the Visconti Tarot. So they're the ones who had like the 4 suits and the 22 trumps. But before that, the Chinese.
Yes.
From 650 to 997 or 907, I think, they were making playing cards.
The Tang Dynasty, right?
Yeah, and they were for fortune telling, like among the aristocracy who like played on the side, but they were mostly like mahjong tiles. They were just part of card games. But I do want to talk about the first deck that a lot of other tarot decks were based on. And that is the Marseille Tarot of 1760. So it was Marseille, France. And that town really got into printing out these cards. So it kind of set the standard in Europe of what tarot cards are supposed to look like, and, you know, generations of people learning how to use them. And it wasn't until 1909 that the Rider-Waite-Smith came along and like brought a whole other system to tarot. So I found that really interesting because I learned on Rider-Waite-Smith. What'd you learn on?
Rider-Waite.
Yeah.
That was my first deck. Was that your first deck?
No, my first one was the Enchanted Tarot, which was Rider-Waite-Smith based. So it was the same system. She just had her own art for it. And now that they released like the 25 anniversary edition of that deck, and I'm like, oh my God, it's been 25 years since I've owned this thing. What is this?
Dude, do you have your deck there?
You know, I forgot to grab it, but I'm gonna run and grab it real quick, and hopefully I don't shake the camera.
I have my original deck, and I want to show you. Ingrid made me bring out this dinosaur. I actually bought it in 1991. I was a kid at Walden Books in Paramus Park Mall. And this is the instructions on how to learn how to read tarot. You guys see that? Who the fuck can learn with a map? I couldn't learn this way. As you can see, it's tattered, it's old, right? Definitely could not learn this way. So I created a book.
Yo, I made a book too. Do you have your book?
Not on me. That's actually in the garage. And I was trying to find my other deck. I have a deck that I bought years ago too. Like soon after I bought this one called the Gypsy something. It's playing cards and it has little meanings. I'll find that. I will. Now that you got me all like, find your real deck, you know?
Well, I have a book. I have a little book. Because the Enchanted Tarot came. Yeah, that shit is crazy. I would have been copying that shit. The Enchanted Tarot came with a book, but it was very vague and airy, you know, like it wasn't like hardcore, you know, what is it in reverse? Like it didn't really like do that. And so I went to the library, took out books and copied them into a book. But this is...
You had to, because now they come so pretty, and now they come with a book and a case.
Yeah.
We got fucked.
Yeah. Well, we had to become stationary geeks and just make our own shit, you know? Yeah. And I still like to make my own shit, so that works.
But I gotta show you how ugly this deck is compared to real traditional Rider-Waite, even though this is. The iconography is awful. It's blurry. Let me see. Hold on. You guys see that? Look at, I mean, they did give him some melanin, right? But like just the images are just, do you see how like bootleg it looks?
Yeah, and the color is very saturated.
There's a period after the moon. Do you see that?
The moon, period.
Yeah, all of them have that. See?
That's crazy.
It's weird. And so, I mean, it just look at the Knight of Swords.
Wow.
You see that?
He's super red.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my first deck. Ingrid made me bring out this dinosaur, and I haven't used it.
Yeah, so here's my, I haven't touched it in a while, but this was the Enchanted Tarot. There's the Fool. There we go. The Magician. Look at that High Priestess.
Boom.
And the Empress. And the Emperor.
Dude, I think you read me with that deck. Why do I think you read me with that deck?
Because this was the only deck I read with up until like 2 years ago. Like I only used this deck. Like I owned other ones, but I didn't read with them. I like, oh, thank you, Michelle. She says, love the deck. I only read with this. And then I don't know what happened. I forgot what deck broke my, the World Spirit Tarot.
I thought that would have been your answer.
Yeah, got my hands on that. And then that was the one I wanted to pull all the time.
So yeah, now they're coming pretty. Now they have books, they have inserts, they have a box. It's just, now it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing, yeah. You need a lot of shelf space for all that.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. So where do you want to go next?
Let's talk about the, what do you think? The practical applications of tarot? Like what we think. Oh, well, let me just say, so there are 3 main tarot systems that we kind of have access to. The majority of new decks created are following one of those 3 systems, unless, they're really explaining it if they don't, though.
Yeah, like the deck that I have, the Gaia deck, that is a totally different system. It does not go with any of the 3 main
ones. Yeah. And there's a few of them that like they have tarot, but they have their own spin on certain cards, in which case it wouldn't fall under those 3 main systems. But so we have the Marseille Tarot, which came out in 1760, the Rider-Waite-Smith, which came out in 1909, and then the Crowley-Thoth Tarot, which came out in 1940.
I've connected with every single of those except for Thoth.
Really? You don't have Thoth?
I don't like the iconography of Thoth.
But there's one deck called Tarot of the Spirit, which is very Thoth-like when it comes to the meanings. And yo, that shit is powerful. And the book that comes with it is like this thick. Like, it's like a massive tome. And then there's like another like version where it goes into the whole Kabbalah-ness of their deck. So it's very extensive.
That workbook that you loaned me, all the imagery is Thoth.
Yeah, because she wanted to reinterpret Thoth because she didn't like the way Thoth was interpreting it. She didn't like the way Crowley interpreted it. So she's like, actually, my book will help you get more use out of it. So we said the practical applications, right? That's what we were gonna.
I think we need to give some kudos to Pamela Coleman Smith.
Yes, the creator of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the artist.
Yeah, and she was of color.
Yeah.
She was a person of color. So kudos and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, too, the Thoth Tarot, it wasn't a woman of color, but it was a woman who painted those paintings. Lady Frida Harris painted the Thoth paintings. Atala says, yes, Tarot of the Spirit is amazing.
I'll look into it again. You guys know how I am. I'm
fastidious. Yeah. It's an old deck too. Like it was published in the 90s, but if they're still publishing it, I feel like it's shown its value that they're still printing it. It's a really fucking great deck. Okay, so what is the point? I asked my son, if you have a tarot question, what would it be? And he said, what is the practical purpose? Like what are we doing it for? And so I thought that would be a good question for us to talk about. One thing that I would say is that tarot provides insights on what you need to know about a situation,
And I feel like it gives direction.
Yeah, sometimes it provides warnings. So you
Mhm.
get warnings, you could get advice. And in my opinion, it's also tarot's like an art form. You know, not everybody sings the same way. Not everybody draws the same way. Not everybody writes the same way. And it's the same with tarot. Not everybody's going to read the cards the same way. Even if they're using the same meanings and symbols, the practitioner is an artist. And so that makes,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it makes what they're doing unique to them, you know? So
And
why would you go get a reading when you can read yourself? Well, because the song might sound different without singing it, you
and they
know?
come at it from a different direction. You know
Yeah,
what I
you're like, oh,
mean?
I didn't hear those before, you know, and it's the
Yeah.
same song, but you didn't catch that because when you sing it, it's something else.
And I like that you pointed that out, because I get a lot of people like, why did you go get read? You're a reader, read yourself. I read myself all the time.
Yeah.
Trust me, I read myself all the time. But it's nice to get another set of eyes. So I always talk about how a surgeon really can't operate on themselves. So they go to another surgeon,
Yeah.
another set of eyes. Hi, Ivory.
Hi,
Um,
Ivory.
we're not doing readings, hon. We're just doing tarot talk.
We're just talking tarot. We're only answering general questions about tarot, the subject. Michelle's got a live next Friday, and I have a live tomorrow. Where we'll be doing readings. So yeah, so I think too, it offers a mirror to analyze our problems, you know, because sometimes you don't want to look at your shit, you know, and you're like, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything right. And
And then
sometimes
that
I was
tower
like,
comes out, and you're like, I need to
I
second
know. And
opinion.
then it's like, yeah, it's like, excuse me,
I need a second
you
opinion.
need to look at it. Michelle Curry says, absolutely.
Bam. There we go.
So
Um,
that to me is the practical application, though. It's data to help make moves, you know? Yeah.
do you want to discuss suits? Or no, you know what? I have this question asked of me. Do you need to believe in a deity or a saint to do tarot? What do you think?
To read tarot
To
for
read tarot as a reader.
no, in my opinion, you in order to be an effective reader, what you need to do is learn to put your ego to the side. That's what you need to do. The reason why people go to God is because they put the attention on God. It's their way of getting the ego out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh no, it's not me, it's God. Because if their ego gets involved, then you have misinterpretations. But to me, everyone has a channel, everyone has access to their higher self, everyone has access to source energy. And even if you don't believe in source energy, you have access to it because it is
Agreed.
a
Agreed.
function. It is a function of being here, you know?
I mean, does it help? Absolutely. Why not? You know, but it's
Yeah,
not,
I
I
mean,
don't
it
feel like
helps
it's
me.
necessary. I get downloads as I read. I know where it's coming from. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? But
yeah,
there are people, you don't have to have any of that except for what Ingrid said. Remove your ego and your bias
hmm
and everything else. You have to be that judgment-free zone.
yeah. And one thing that I want to touch on that is that sometimes,
Michelle Curry says energy question mark.
shoot, this lag. What
Yeah.
were we saying about energy 20
Can you
seconds
just
ago?
put it out there again, Michelle? Like the whole thing you're asking, because we'll touch on the lag in a little bit, but So go ahead, Ingrid.
I lost my train of thought.
A judgment-free zone.
Oh, yeah, the whole ego thing. You have to also put aside what you want for the person sitting in front of you, because sometimes it's going to be a card that you don't, oh, I don't want that for them. I don't want that to happen for them. And you have to learn to accept the truth, even if it's a truth you don't want to share. And sometimes it's a truth that you're not supposed to share. And it's almost like, why are you telling me if I'm not supposed to share, you know?
Yeah. Michelle Curry says, sorry, I just feel that you pick up energy from the cards as well. Do you?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. I believe that a lot of the symbols in tarot are archetypical. They speak to our DNA because our human DNA has been looking at it for how many hundred years? 2,000 years, right? If we're going to count it all the way from when the Chinese started making playing cards,
Yeah.
But even if we were to count it, yeah.
In the deck, there's, some say that there's Michael in the deck as Temperance. The devil is Uriel, which I found interesting. Gabriel as the Judgment, and Raphael as the Lovers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So you see these angels, you see these humans, you see, scale, all of this iconography in the card. You definitely do pick up stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of speaks to your subconscious. Where have I seen that before? Oh, that reminds me of this. And then, the free association, that's your channel putting the pieces of the puzzle together for you. What else? I do want to touch on one thing, and it's about obsessive questioning.
Thank you.
Obsessive questioning. I'm shaking everything. Obsessive questioning will lead to inaccurate answers. It's like if there's a little kid who's asking for something and you can't give it to them in that moment, and they're like, please, but can I have it? But can I have it? But can I have it? And you're like, yeah, sure, tomorrow. And it's just to get that kid off your back. That will happen.
Let's get into a Miguelina style. Ready? Mommy, can I have such and such? Yes, when I forget.
Yes, when I forget all about it. Yeah.
My mother, well, yes, when I forget all about it, you can have it. Then I'd remind her, oh, you reminded me.
You reminded me, so we can't do
again.
Yeah. So you reminded me, so now I have to forget again.
That was my mother and my tia Pali.
Oh man. The key thing for being someone who reads for others is, I forgot. Darn it. I lost my train of thought again. I forgot what it was. It was something about that, about obsessive questioning. It'll come back. Oh, about reading for others is, you have to remember, and this goes back to the ego, is I'm not God, you're God. The responsibility falls back on the person who's creating for themselves. We cannot give over the responsibility of our creation to someone who we think is better than us, And what I mean by better is this person is tapped in more than I am. And it's like, no, I may be listening more, but the person who's the most tapped into your shit needs to be you. Yeah, it's got to be.
You're all psychic. Everyone is psychic.
It's a sense that you need to learn how to use.
Absolutely.
And you need to learn how to use it if you want to, have skill at it, but even learn how to use it, you just use it. in many ways. And the thing is, a lot of us have anxiety, and it's because we're getting a ton of psychic information that we don't know what to do with because we know how to listen.
Yeah.
Michelle
Some of
Curry.
it we need to purge because it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where cleansing is in order, remembering and doing your own work, because sometimes you'll be like, oh, that's because of so and so. And it's like, no, it's because of you, you know? So you just have to be willing to put your shit aside, basically.
And let's talk about this idea that tarot is somewhat set in stone.
Oh, totally. Because who's the creator? Who's the creator? And the thing is, tarot can be predictive. It can be. Just like when you tell somebody, hey, the stove is hot, if you touch it, you might get burned. Like, that's a prediction there. And it's like common sense, you know? And so a lot of times tarot is just telling you the common sense you do not want to look at.
It bothers me when I am on TikTok and I go into someone's live. Nope, this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to happen, and you are destined for X, Y, and Z. I think as readers, as what do they call us? Tarologists, cartomancers, divination specialists, whatever you call us, you have a responsibility to your client or to the person that you're reading for to leave. They should leave your reading, in my opinion, and I'm sure Ingrid would agree, feeling in control, that they can manifest, inspired, and empowered.
Yeah, I mean, that's my mission, you know? That's why I call my personal empowerment professional, because I'm here to help you empower yourself. Just I use these tools to empower myself. I'm helping you to empower yourself, and hopefully you help others to empower themselves.
Michelle says, work, subjective.
Yeah, it is subjective. And your work is to realize how does your objective truth fit in with this subjectivity?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times too, if you find yourself in judgment, look at where your shit is dirty.
I just also want to touch on, Ingrid and I come from the law of attraction mentality.
Right. So some people
That
just
paradigm.
believe in destiny and fate. And so if you want destiny and fate, we're not the readers.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Don't be asking us about your twin flame. At least don't ask me when you're not loving yourself first, because you're pouring your cup into a goddamn colander.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, had to say that.
And the thing is that when we treat ourselves well, we do not allow people to mistreat us, because we're already used to giving ourselves what we need. So somebody is laughing.
Michelle. But we'll discuss the lag.
Oh yeah, because you said pouring into a colander, right? So
Robert Williams says, Ivory Williams, inbox me.
Ooh, Robert.
I don't have the authority to block him from DFA.
All right, I blocked him from my
Ivory,
page.
if you are watching, do not inbox this individual. They will scam the fuck out of you. Michelle Curry, Robert Williams is a fucking scammer, you piece of shit. Sorry, Ingrid, I gotta go there. Robert Williams. Te voy a pisar, cabrón.
Go find another page, Robert.
Michelle Curry says, you two are funny.
Oh, it just gets so incensed with these fucking posers. Go make your own fucking event,
Dude, this is
motherfucker.
why I haven't gone live on my public page, because of this.
Yeah.
They fuck up everything.
Oh, blah.
Anyhow, continue.
Well, you know what? We might as well get into the lag since we've brought it up a bunch of times. So there's a lag when you go live, and it can last up to 50 seconds. So, yeah.
Raisa Rose Pepinalo.
Sí, si le veo la cara otra vez, vamos a ver.
Oh, yeah, man.
But you know those assholes change their names. I wonder if it's the same dickhead showing up to work every day. I think it's
the whole system. Like from
like there's a building these motherfuckers walk into and clock in for this shit.
They have a system. They have, and I think the Cash App.
Yeah, that symbol calls it over. I agree.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what it is. Let's talk about scammers. I mean, okay, let's wait, the lag. So Facebook is up to 50 seconds. So guys, be patient with us, and and I can only speak for Ingrid and I, will be patient with you. I mean, literally from the minute you guys commented, like frustrating for the reader to have the lag, like Michelle wrote that, for about 45 seconds, we don't see that. And we're on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we ask you to write it again or to explain again, understand that it's because time has passed. And 45 seconds, 50 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is.
Especially when you're talking on the next subject already, or you're saying whatever it was. And sometimes, the jokes might be funny, but you got to put a few more words so that we could remember what we were talking about and get your joke,
Absolutely. Do you want to talk about scammers?
Okay, what do we want to say about these pieces?
I feel like you have to use your intuition, number one. And
That's
you have
true.
to find a reader that you connect with.
And if you can get like referrals, like what, ask people, what witches are you following? Have you ever gotten a reading from them?
100%.
I know for me, it takes me a long, long time of following somebody before I'm ready to drop money.
I'm not for nothing. I'm the same way because I got to see how you move.
Yeah. So chances are if I've booked a reading, it's because I've known about you for at least 12 months or some shit like that. And I've been, creeping.
There was one time I had a knee-jerk reaction and actually went to a reader on Route 17 in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. She was phenomenal, but it was a knee-jerk. Oh, look, she's a reader. Look, I'm going in, the time.
So the intuition.
Yeah. So yeah, I was definitely called there. She was spot on. She was great. But I think with scammers though, dude, like you have to really like be discerning,
Yeah, and there's some red flags. Red flag number 1 is telling people, hi, Smith Claire, ask your question, and we will try to answer it. We won't be doing any readings today. But if you have a general question about tarot, we can answer that. So, where were we? I instantly
Thank you, Michelle. She says, I instantly connected with Michelle. That has never happened. Raisa says, I only trust you ladies. We love you too, Cuzzo.
And we thank you for your trust.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons I learned how to read the tarot was because I didn't know who could read me the cards, my aunt could read me the baraja española, but that was another situation. So it was like, if I had like a simple question or whatever, who's going to do it, And my aunt also would never claim to be a reader. She would do it more for play. So I kind of never took those readings that seriously because
and they have a thing with words, if you noticed. the tias and you know, like the family in general. Maybe it's a Latino Dominican thing. The second, you know, you label them a bruja. Yo no hago brujería. You know, there's Smith Claire's question. So when I asked if my mom can come live with me, because she called that she had nowhere to go, but my reading came out the death card reverse and the judgment card upright. So what's the answer? Don't have her come here, or yes? Here's the thing with that, Michelle. I don't interpret other people's reads. Do you?
No, but I can give you a tip. When you Google, you can Google and see what tarot card is typically considered a yes, and
Yes
what
or
tarot
no.
card is typically considered a no. And then, for instance, I have a feeling, although I could be wrong, that death is a no.
Yes,
But if it's in reverse, yeah, it's trying to say yes.
Yes.
And I feel like judgment is a yes. But again, I don't remember. There's a chart.
There is actually a tarot calculator that a lot of newbies are putting on TikTok. So you literally go find your card on this tarot calculator on Google. And from what I saw, you pick the card and it literally gives you like this plus this card equals this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of tell if it's a yes or a no.
Yeah, there's that too. But there's also, there's a author I really like named Benabel Wen. And on her site, she's got these sheets that you can download, and it's got all the keywords to the tarot decks, and it has reference tables that'll tell you if it's considered a yes or a no, what astrological connections there are, and a bunch of stuff. And that's a free download on her website.
Let's get into astrology and tarot. I have that jotted down.
All right, go ahead. Speak on it, sister.
So in tarot, you have suits. You have your cups, you have your pentacles, you have your swords, and you have your wands. That is also attached to elements. Cups are water, pentacles are earth, swords are air. Wait, she asked another question. So if someone would have asked you this, what would you say? Yes or no? Your opinion.
I feel like in my opinion, we said that a reverse death
would
card
be
is
yes.
yes.
And then the justice card would be yes.
And this card would be yes. So I feel like your tarot cards might be saying yes. But the thing is that if it doesn't feel right when you see that answer, then it's a no. So it goes back to looking at yourself. When you saw those cards, what did your heart do? Did your heart close? And then why did it close? Did it close because this parent is abusive or something like that? Then it doesn't matter what the cards say. Your heart closing is a big from your intuition that you need to do some serious work.
You got scared of what, Smith Claire? What did you get scared of? She says, I kind of got scared.
Well, remember I said, what did you feel when you saw that stuff? So she's answering, I got scared when she saw it.
Got it. Michelle Curry writes gut feeling.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's your highest answer, is your gut feeling.
Yeah. So I got scared. I would do some journal, why
she
am I scared?
She was gonna pass. Well, let's talk about the death card real quick, Smith Claire.
Yeah. That makes sense too. Let's get into those bugaboo cards, those scary cards.
Let's get into the death card. It is not a predictor of death.
Yes.
It is upright. I'll discuss the upright, you discuss the reverse. How's that?
Okay.
The upright is a big change. It's time for rebirth. It is the time to move on, not move on.
A transformation.
It's transformational, exactly. And the reverse would be
a period of stagnation, a stopping, you know, but at the same time, it depends on what other cards are there.
That is
because
true.
if I saw the death card in reverse and then I saw the sun, I'd be thinking, oh, somebody's pregnant after having had a loss. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
And she
like
asked a yes
it
or no
really,
question,
yeah,
but it doesn't
yeah.
literally mean death, Smith Claire. It is
No,
not a
and
literal.
most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't, you know. I would say the only time it literally means death is if you're asking a literal death question.
Death question.
Yeah, you know, like, is so-and-so gonna die, and you get death, then, you know.
Go to the doctor and see what's up. Go to the doctor and see what's up. So let's finish up these elements. We'd said cups are water, pentacles are earth, swords are air, and wands are fire.
Yeah, elemental dignities.
That also attaches it to astrological placements or charts or whatever. So you have your cups being water signs, you have your pentacles being money or your home, your swords are your thoughts, overthinking, and your wands of fire, your ambitions, your work, your creativity. So you have your water signs, which are your cups, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio.
Right.
You have your pentacles, which are your earth. You have Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. You have your swords, which are your air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And your wands are your fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And do you have to know astrology to read tarot? No.
No.
For me, it just helps me extrapolate what I'm dealing with. So I'll sometimes ask, is this a person a water sign? Are they t? And then the reading makes more sense.
Yeah. Well, again, it's data. It's data that helps us compute the information that's in front of us. Why am I seeing this element here? Well, they just told me the person's sign fits this element. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Because if the person's sign doesn't fit that element, then there's another reason for that element to be there that has to be woven into the prediction.
Correct. What do you want to touch on? Oh, Smith Claire has said she's a Sag, I'm a Cancer. We've had our issues. She's always been an obsessive parent mom. Michelle says more work, LOL. Yes, you never stop working.
Never.
Go.
Yeah. So Smith, it looks like what you're going to have to do is learn how to set some boundaries. Because if she needs to move in with you.
¿Tú la conoces a Smith Claire?
No, yo creo que
es un vaina. Yo también pienso que va a comenzar a ponernos bien bici para que entre otro fatal. Me pasó. Por eso yo estoy tratando de ignorar. Sorry.
Well, okay, so we've answered that. Let's get into this thing because, you know, it touches on predictions, you know, and reading tarot like occurs on a spectrum, right? There's the psychic tarot reading on one end where you're using your psychic and intuitive gifts, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, and whatever that are triggered by what you're seeing in the cards.
Your Claire Huxtable.
Yeah. So that's a psychic tarot reading. And I feel a lot of us do this, especially when we don't know the meanings. And this is great because it allows your channel to be the focal point. However, it's a spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum are people who analyze the tarot, kind of the way an archaeologist would. You know, what is this symbol here doing there? Every time I see a sun, I know it means this, this, and that. Every time I see waves in the ocean, I know it means this, this, and that. And that is you using the symbols of the tarot that you know, because you know them, you know that cups is water, right? Because you've studied what it means. And so you're looking at that symbol and you're allowing it to trigger your subconscious to bring it forward. So it's almost like when you hear a song and like you get like the earworm on the song and it's like, oh, now I know why I kept hearing that song. It was about this and that. And it's the same thing when you're analyzing tarot and you're looking at these meanings, it's triggering something in you for you to look at. So it's behaving like a mirror that way. And in between that, in between the psychic, in between the analytics, there's the tarot reading, right? And it's like the bell curve. And that is, you're using the tarot symbols and the archetypes with your psychic gifts. And to me,
there's an integration of those.
Yeah, it's like a holistic thing. And I feel like everybody's journey is different. Some people start on the analytic side and make their way to the middle. And some people start on the psychic side and make their way to the middle, you know? I feel like looking back, I kind of went the analytic side. You know what I'm saying? And then made my way into the middle, you know? And I'm like that because I love to read and...
Time out, Shamble Ray.
Yeah.
Block, please.
Chambel.
Mamagüevel.
Come mierda.
They're messaging at ISA too. Jesus. I started on the analytics side. I mean, because look what I had to start with. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have told people, you know, who don't necessarily want to read the book first.
Right.
Look at the images.
Yeah.
See how they make you feel.
Yeah.
Is it facing this direction? Where is the chariot facing? What's behind it? What's around it? Yeah. Did you block Chambel? Because they're still commenting.
I thought I did. I blocked it. Like maybe I blocked him so many times I unblocked him. Oh, what a cagón. I don't know how many times. I'm just gonna delete his comment now.
I'm trying to report. Look, they're messaging Jahira too. This sack of shit. So Michelle says she started on the psychic side because that's how she reads oracle. She doesn't read tarot yet. Mm-hmm. So she goes in, looks and see how she feels about the images and the iconography of the oracle cards that she's working with and comes up with her assessment.
Yeah.
Reversals. Do you want to talk reversals? Because I think that's something we should discuss.
Go ahead. Tell what are your thoughts on reversals?
So personally, it took me about 2 years or so to learn 78 meanings. So add to that the reversals. That's what, 100 and what did I write down? 156. So obviously I started with this deck, traditional Rider-Waite. And I taught myself, and I think that took another 2 years. So it took about 4 years, all of high school. And then I was doing readings in the lounge for cigarettes. But now I feel like when I get a deck, I go immediately to the book to try to know where the author was coming from, what their thoughts were. If that deck was not made to read reversals, then I don't read reversals in that deck. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Obviously, if I'm using Rider-Waite, then I'm going to use reversals. But I recommend learning the upright first. Mm-hmm. Don't complicate your shit anymore until you've mastered the 78 units.
The 78.
My opinion. Where are you at with that?
Well, I feel if you don't feel like it, you don't need to.
Correct.
You know, because there's enough
information.
There's enough with the 78 freaking cards that you don't need to if you don't want to. However, I like it. I have always read reversals. So even if the deck comes and it says it wasn't meant to be reversed, I'm still reading the reversals because that's what I've always done. Like, I'm not going to remember that you didn't mean for it to be reversed or whatever.
But you know, I'll remember.
Well, and the thing is, I tend to reorder my cards every now and again. They kind of refresh. So if it came out upside down after that, it really needed to be read upside down.
I also feel that for me, when, okay, so let's just put it here. You want obstacles? Look at all your fives. There's your fucking problems right there. All of your fives are all of your problems, in my opinions. There's always a conflict in the suits of fives.
There's definitely patterns.
So if you lay out enough cards, quote unquote, based on your gut, or if you're doing a particular spread or whatever, there might be your obstacles. You know what I'm saying? You might find your obstacles. Sometimes the reversals is an obstacle and sometimes it's not an obstacle. Sometimes it's a good thing. But people automatically, as soon as I drop one, they're like, oh, it's in reverse, it's bad. No, it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that misconception. But I feel like, go with your gut. Some people are like, no, I'm turning it around.
Yeah.
It's your deck. You bonded with it. You know what it means.
Exactly. It's your channel. It's your channel. So basically, when you refuse to read a reversal, your channel stops giving you reversals as information as well, you know, because it's like, oh, she's not going to read those. So I got to make sure I give it to her upright, you know?
Right, that says, but what if the guide doesn't show a reverse?
Psychic.
Like if the book, I'm still learning, so I still use the guide.
Go to your psychicness.
Is it a newer deck, Raisa? I mean, because sometimes they don't mention it because they don't use it, but it really has to be up to you, though, Rice Cakes.
Yeah, yeah. If that's what you want to read, if you feel like it must be looked at in reverse, then that's what you do. But I would use my psychic intuition for that if you don't know the answer and the book isn't giving you one. You know, so look at the picture. What would it mean if this thing is upside down? What does that result in? You
know? Practice makes perfect, Rice Cakes.
Yeah.
If you can have the time to pull one a day, just one, pull one card a day. Ask the guidance of the day or what you need to know. And then practice on others. Practice reading your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Decipher the picture, Michelle Curry says.
Yeah. Where else are we going with this? Because we're at 9:07.
I want to talk about how we support tarot practitioners without money. Because, of course, everybody, you know, wants to donate and pay for readings, and we like that. That's all wonderful. However, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic, which means you sometimes don't have the money, even though you want to participate with us. And, you know, we understand that. So how do we support a practitioner for free? And one of the ways...
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, Raisa. One of the biggest ways is to help us with the algorithm. And what does that mean? Facebook has a system for which they show people our posts. Instagram has a system, same thing. Everybody's got a fucking system. And the way you help us beat that system is by liking the post, sharing the post, staying the whole live. Because they look at that. If you got your free reading, but then you're bouncing, you're fucking up the algorithm. You need to stay to the end of the live, you know? So those are ways, even if what you do is you watch an old live, but that's a way of at least boosting us so that we get the exposure we need so that we can get the clients that are looking for us.
Yeah, like Divination for All has me boxed in, but I have my personal La Mente Maestra page. You guys can go on that page and share the shit out of that content and go, look what my friend is doing, or look what this is doing, or this reading resonated, might resonate with you, you know, and same thing with Thinking This.
Exactly. Yeah.
Share.
Yeah, definitely. And subscribe.
Agreed,
to
Michelle.
the social, what did she say? People miss many messages from not listening to other people's readings. That's true too. There is, I feel like when I go live, there's always a theme in the end, and everybody's readings seem to apply to the whole evening, you know?
And here's something else, and I'm just going to say it because, you know, Mercury and Virgo. We know who the grifters are. And I don't just mean because you're not donating.
Right.
We know that you're getting your free card and you're out, and you'll be back again, get your free card and you're out. Not share, not comment, not like, not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We know. Trust. We don't need divination.
Well, that's the thing. It's not just us who knows. The community knows too.
Exactly.
They're all paying attention. Who's taking advantage of Michelle, or who's taking advantage of Ingrid, and they message us and they're like, "Hey, did you see that? Blah blah." You know.
Yes, they do. We may not tell you, but they message.
Okay. Subscribe to social media outlets and email lists, and write a testimonial. Even if it was the free card that you liked, write a testimonial. Yo, Michelle's live last night was the best. You know, check out her live next week. You know what I'm saying? That's so helpful because there's so many scammers out there. When you write a testimonial, they'll know, hey, this person's legit. This person is providing a real service.
Mm-hmm. And your word means more to them than whatever they could possibly see. We can do a collective, but they're like, how do I know she's that good? You can tell her that she's that good.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I just want to name some authors that y'all might want to check out if you want to go into learning tarot in depth. So one is Benabel Wen. The other one is Rachel Pollack. Then there's Mary Kay Greer. And of course, Angeles Aaron, that green book that Michelle referenced earlier. Oh, and you know, we forgot to talk about, we touch on it, cards as sentient beings.
Absolutely, they are.
Speak on.
I feel like I am when I get a new deck, I start connecting with it right away. Let me see if I can pull this out. Hold on.
Oh, and one good way for newbies to connect is shuffle the cards, put them back in order. Even if it's all you do that day, the spending time and looking at the images helps, because you may dream of those images later. You may be studying that in the ethers, but if you don't spend time with the cards, it just doesn't develop. Go ahead.
I feel like every card deck has their personalities. They are sentient beings, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This is a book that I have for my decks, okay? I'm not going to share all of it with you, I do what's called a deck interview. I literally will interview a deck. Let me find one. All right, perfect. Let me just pluck this out. I'll cleanse it. And how do I cleanse my cards? You guys have seen it sometimes. I'm literally burning incense right here, and I'm going like this, fanning them out, sometimes one by one, front and back. Then I get some selenite and I use it like soap, you know. But before every live or before every reading, I am literally saying a prayer. And I'm not going to say it, but it's literally, you know, for, let's just use Michelle Curry, that her answers come in clear, accurate, and precise, you know, and then I thank my spirit guides. But then I take the deck, shuffle them, and there's no right or wrong way how to shuffle. You can throw them up against the wall and pick them up in any order. That's on you.
But
okay?
Don't be disrespectful with them, though.
No, thank you, Raisa. And I literally photocopy my cards. Hang on, maybe this, if I do it like this, might be better. Hold on, let's see if I could flip. Can I do a flip? I think I can do a flip. Hold on. All right, is that better? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I see it.
This was the Everyday Witch deck. Here is question 1, who are you? They like to hang around, laugh out loud. Question 2, what are your strengths? Movement. So I want to use that card when someone wants to move. Should I get another job? Blah, blah, blah. What are your weaknesses? Hasty choices. So this is the deck that likes to take his time. So that tells me that I might need to pull more cards than necessary.
Yeah.
More cards to get clarity.
Mm-hmm.
What types of readings do you prefer? Readings of love, hope, and balance, tranquility, and peace. Okay. What will our partnership bring? Joy. And it has brought me joy. Okay. So every deck I get, I interview it to feel the energy. I have a deck that's like, don't ask me money questions.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I hadn't thought of treating my decks that way until like last year. Like it just never occurred to me. It never occurred to me, you know? So, but I decided to, okay, let's do a deck interview on this deck that I'd owned for like 22 years, but I had never read because I was sticking to my favorites and I just, you know, never read it. It was in a box. Yo,
Right.
And that deck was annoyed that I neglected it. I mean, I wish I would have had the thing to show you the picture it had. Because it was straight up saying, you left me. And I was like, oh my God, like the pressure. Like for a second, I was almost like, I don't want to do a deck interview because I don't want you to tell me what to do.
I see that. But back to your questions, do I feel like they're sentient beings? Absolutely, especially when you bond with them. They have a certain personality, you know? And the Crow deck has the biggest personality.
Definitely a lot of personality.
You know, but what do you feel?
Well, with that, blunt.
No, like if sentient beings, your question.
Well, I'm sitting with it because you done given me rules, you know? And I'm like, and I also like, you know, I collect decks, but I don't have time to always read.
Mm-hmm.
So then it becomes, oh, great, I can't use this deck until I do a deck interview. You know,
I'm behind.
I got another one. I got another one. I did a deck interview, and the deck, and one of the questions in the interview was, "Can I put pictures of you on the internet?" And the freaking deck said no. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Don't tell me what to do.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm almost afraid because, like, great, I bought a deck to use to take pictures of it, and the freaking deck I come home with is like, no, you know. But I
have so many decks now that I'm behind on deck interviews. I think I only have like 20 deck interviews.
That makes me feel better, though. That makes me feel better. Because I'm like,
if I
yo,
did
that's a
deck
fucking
interview.
high-ass standard to be doing a deck interview with every new deck.
But dude, I wonder if I did a deck interview with the dinosaur that I had to bring out of the cave, is it gonna say you left me?
I don't know, bro. Like, do you want that answer?
No, not really. But and I think it doesn't need to be said, because I don't know. I got only 4 people on this end. How many do you have on the other end? Same?
There's 4 here, yeah.
All right. So then I was gonna say, just for those that didn't know, Ingrid and I are cousins.
Yeah. 6 months apart.
And we've been witchy for fucking ever. And we've
always gone hard with the spiritual stuff. We've always gone hard. Even when we were like agnostic, we were hard.
And then we went LOA. We went hard.
Yeah, we've always just gone hard.
Oh, that's CWG style. Oh, that was in CWG. Oh, that's LOA. Oh, what are you creating with that? Where are we going with that? Like, we would get annoying. You know that.
Yeah. Michelle Curry says, couldn't tell. Laugh out loud. Nah, you couldn't tell, huh?
But this was cool. Thanks for those who stayed.
Yes, thanks so much.
Do you
Thanks
guys
for
have
helping
any
the
questions?
algorithm. Huh?
Do they have any questions?
Is there a final question? We got to wait a whole minute, so.
Yeah.
Let's wait a whole minute. Follow me on Thinking This on Facebook, on Instagram at Thinking This Tarot, on Twitter at Thinking Tarot, and on my YouTube, which I believe I linked in the description. And I also linked Michelle's link tree in the description, if I'm not mistaken. So that is how you can
icons will lead you right to the link to my social media.
Yeah. All right. So this was awesome. Had a great time. Oh, and this is like the childhood fantasy that she and I had when we would watch these ladies on public access TV reading people the cards. And now, 30 years later, the world has reformed to make our dreams come true. So
we were on some hot and heavy Clio.
LOA, motherfuckers.
And Walter Mercado, go check out his documentary on Netflix if you want to get more insight as to how we grew up. And you know, he was a
major influence on us. And it wasn't even until the documentary that I realized how freaking influence, like a huge, tremendous influence.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me just read some comments here real quick. Atala says, thank you both with the claps.
You're welcome.
Michelle says, I have a lot to learn. Be patient with the old lady. We'll try. And thank you both so very much. It's been very educational and lots of fun. And
thank you for hanging with us.
Thank you guys for participating, for commenting. And we're sorry that assholes decided to private message you. Please delete them.
Guys, Ingrid has her live tomorrow at 4:44.
Yeah, that
show
too.
Up and show out.
Oh, yay. And I will be, that's right. I'm going to be giving Oracle from Archangel Raphael because he is the one associated with spring equinox. Archangel Raphael is going to be with us tomorrow night or tomorrow evening. Dope. All right, guys. So again, I'm going to sign out now. Have a great night. All right. Peace.